Hi, before we get started on this video, I'd like to say that everything in this video are my own unbiased personal opinions. Other people may have different opinions. I haven't been paid or asked by anybody to say these things. I bought the pulley with my own money, so I haven't been given it and expected that I'm going to be nice or nasty or anything. So I hope you enjoy the review. Hello and welcome to climbingarborist.com. In this video I'm going to review the DMM Hitch Climber Eccentric pulley. So DMM came out with the triple attachment pulley many years ago now, and this was an absolute game changer. What seems now like such a simple idea, to add the 3 holes to a small pulley like this to give so many different options of usability, different connection points, that kind of thing, was an absolute game changer. So, you know, the additional holes could be used for attaching your lanyard to keep everything nice and streamlined if you wanted to do so. Now with the popularity of stationary rope systems, it just adds that obvious hole for your chest harness or your neck tether. And then this one has also been used in many rigging applications where you just need a lightweight pulley. You can use either hole for like a hole line while the center hole takes the load. It's so versatile, and this came out of those geniuses at Treemagineers. They came up with a design for the hitch climber pulley, and then they worked closely with DMM, and that's how this came to market. So hats off to the gents at Treemagineers. This has been an absolute fantastic pulley, and it's become the go-to pulley for an arborist's climbing system like this one, whether it be moving rope system or stationary rope system. So best pulley for climbing systems by far to date. And they've just come out with, at the end of 2019, the DMM Hitch Climber pulley Eccentric, and straight away it's quite obvious that so this one was called the triple attachment pulley, which got known as the Hitch Climber pulley, and now they've changed the name to the Hitch Climber Eccentric. So they've gone about the design of this pulley specifically for the climbing arborist system, and the reason I say that is because at the same time, or just before this one came out, they came out with the rigger pulley series, which is basically similar to the hitch climber pulley. You can get one with a becket on the bottom, and they're a little, the rating is a little higher than on the hitch climber pulley. So basically, if you want to use it for like rigging, you would buy those ones because they offer, you know, the same options, those different holes for pulleys. Whereas on the Hitch Climber Eccentric, the changes that they've made, those little kind of the little evolution changes of the Hitch Climber, are the rounded edges on the bottom, and they've made there actually be a top and a bottom. So this is the top with the more kind of pointed end, whereas on the original you could use it either way up. It's symmetrical. So obviously there's some more design thought gone into this one being for the tree climbers system. So in the old version of the pulley, you could get one with bushings or one with roller bearings. This one is the triple attachment pulley Rapide, and that has the roller bearings. The original one has the bushings. You can still buy both currently, whereas the new one only comes with the roller bearings because they're more efficient than with bushings. So let's take a closer look at the pulley itself and the design changes and features. So as you can see, the pulley, if I hold these two up together, is slightly bigger than the original. It weighs slightly more as well. This one is 176 grams, this one is 135 grams. Now, to me, the size nor the weight really makes a difference. I mean, we're talking a few grams, so that's going to be unnoticeable really. The size makes no difference really either. a big difference actually is the fact that that middle hole doesn't protrude out as much as on the original. And I noticed that pretty much on my first climb I was climbing stationary rope system. I descended into the tree, I was moving around, then I went back to clipping my neck tether, and the holes, all the holes were covered by the hitch, whereas on this one, even if half, like the worst it would ever get would be half of the hole of the center hole would be covered by the hitch, and so you could always get in that little you know, that little accessory carabiner for your neck tether. That's not an issue because you're connected to the bottom hole when in a stationary rope system. You can just push the bottom of the pulley up lightly and it will pivot, and then these holes will become exposed. So it's not an issue. It was just I don't know, it just took me by surprise when I went to clipping my tether and the holes were all covered. So working load limit, or minimum brake strength, on the new one it's 32 kilonewtons, on the old one it was 30 kilonewtons. The listed working load limit on the new one is 6 kilonewtons, which makes sense. On the old one, on the DMM website, it's listed as 7 kilonewtons. So it's quite strange how the new one has a larger minimum brake strength but lower working load limit. So I don't know, I'm not quite sure why that is, or if it was even a typo or something, but who knows. One of the main changes, aside from there being a top and a bottom, is on the underside. There's got some really nice flared edges, and that basically is to try and make slack tending a little easier, a little smoother, a little nicer. And what it does is means if you ever try to tend slack off axis, it just smoothly glides your arm back round to the front, and there's no kind of lumps, bumps. It's just like a nice smooth transition. Whereas on the old one, if you actually do a test and try and slack tend to the side, your arm will be pulled to the front, but then there'll just be like a little dip where the rope drops into the pulley, whereas these smooth edges kind of glide it down to the bed of the pulley, and there's no bump. When I was just experimenting with this, and actually when I was climbing around and thinking, you know, how I climb and being more cognizant of the pulley, I never really found myself ever pulling to the side. You know, it just and it naturally the rope always pulls your arm back to the front again anyway. So I don't know, it's like, in theory it's a great little change, but in reality, how much, if any, does it help? You know, verdict is out on that one. The cheek plates, or just the sides, like these rolled edges, just seem a little bit nicer, rounder, beefier, smoother. The design of it just looks really cool. So let's get down to the real question. Would I recommend buying a Hitch Climber Eccentric over the original Hitch Climber? Well, as I said already, the Hitch Climber is in my opinion the pulley to buy for your climbing system. If you climb on a hitch, you must buy a Hitch Climber. It's just so much more beneficial than using like a single eye pulley. So now, instead of having one option, you have two options, or actually three options if you class the Rapide and the original. So would I recommend it? Well, this one in US dollars, $85, the Rapide $70, and the original $60. So it's a $15 difference between the Rapide and a $25 difference between the original pulley. I would say if you're on a budget, definitely buy a Hitch Climber, but buy the one with the bushings. Buy the cheapest Hitch Climber you can, because these pulleys, yes, they're proven to be smoother. They're more efficient than the one with bushings, but you're not using it where you're hanging a load from the pulley, so you're not really needing that you know, that extra, whatever it is, 10-15% of less friction on the pulley. You're just using that pulley wheel and that kind of smoothness to tend, but you're not actually using it as a pulley. So I don't think the fact that it has roller bearings or bushings makes a difference for your climbing system. It makes more of a difference if you're going to use it as a pulley itself. So if you're on a budget, buy the original with bushings. If you've got a bit of extra cash, why not buy the Eccentric? It's as good as the old, if not, well, with some slight evolution changes. Are they better in the real world? The verdict is out. I don't feel like I noticed any difference. Looks nice and modern, looks pretty cool. You'd have some new kit. If you're a gear junkie, definitely buy it. But as far as my personal experience of climbing on this new pulley, did I notice a difference? And I would have to say no. I noticed not really any difference, apart from that hole not being protruding out as much as the old one. I think that's pretty much the only difference that I noticed. I think if you're wanting something to tend smoother, then you're going to get much more benefit out of changing your hitch and rope combination. So try a different hitch cord, try a different rope with the old hitch cord that you're using, try different like knots for your hitches. There's so many different things that you can try to make your climbing system tend smoother than actually using a pulley. So here's an analogy for you. If you're into cars, you'll get this. If you're not, then this will go right over your head. I see the old hitch climber pulley as a Porsche GT3. I see the new one as a Porsche GT3 RS. Very subtle changes, performance changes, you know, changes in weight, slight changes in shape, all those kind of things. But unless you're at the top of your game, you're climbing for speed, you've done everything possible to make this hitch combination better, to find the best rope, you've changed your helmet, you've changed the boots you wear, if you've changed everything else and you're still looking for that tiny little edge, maybe this might help. But in the grand scheme of things, I think in a work scenario, you will probably not find any difference. So that is my review of the Hitch Climber Eccentric. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to comment below if you completely disagree with what I say. This is just my personal opinion. You might be more in tune with things and you might really find some benefits to the Hitch Climber Eccentric. But yeah, comment below, like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Climb safe, guys. Thanks.